Like for us to be able to hit that on a weekly basis, we are not doing that naturally. And which is why we want to be known as like, hey, we do this inside. We do this at X4 for the life that we have outside of it. We fully recognize that we are just a gym. Like we have a great community. You're going to have a great experience, but ultimately we are just a gym. And we know that the most important thing is your life outside of it. It is what you do outside with your family, or if it's the extracurricular thing that you want that you do. It's just being in better shape for the longevity of your life. Like that is the most important thing.
You're an inspiration to our entire organization.
Welcome to the Gym Marketing Made Simple podcast. We're going to be talking the done-for-you marketing and sales strategies proven to work with boutique fitness gyms to increase quality lead flow and grow your revenue. Don't try to be a professional marketer and waste tons of money. Let the experts at Lasso do it for you. And now, here are your hosts, Blake Ruff and Sherman Merricks.
All right, guys, here we go. Another episode of Gym Marketing Made Simple. As we told you guys last week, we're going to have Chris back again. So we're finishing that conversation. If you haven't listened to the previous episode with Chris, be sure to tune into that. Stop this right now. Listen to episode 1. And then now we're going to jump right into episode 2. So, Chris, jumping right into it. Last week, you sort of talked about moving to Salt Lake City. I'm a snowboarder. What sort of has you going to Salt Lake City? Because, you know, you've been sort of down here in the Southeast. Now you're going to Salt Lake. I'm coming to visit, definitely, because I need another place to snowboard. But, like, just sort of talk about the big move, because that's a big move. Like, that's a big move.
First off, Sherman, snowboarders are the ones that cause all the wrecks on the slopes, man. I don't know about
Oh, man. No, man. No, that's no.
y'all create all the moguls.
I didn't. So I just got into snowboarding 4 or 5 years ago. So I just got into it. I'm 42 now. So yeah, I got into it about 5 years ago at 37. I hadn't snowboarded. I hadn't done any winter sport my entire life. So I just got into snowboarding because my buddy snowboarded. And he was like, you should snowboard over skiing just because if you ski, you're not going to snowboard. I was like, yeah, I want to be on that board. So I got into snowboarding and just, you know, learned how to do it, blah, blah, blah. But then about a couple years ago, I started figuring out, oh, everyone doesn't enjoy having snowboarders around. Again, I didn't know that. I would be on the ski lifts and ladies would be like, please don't knock me over when you get off. I'm just like, lady, what are you talking about? I'm just going to get off the ski lift. And then my buddy started telling me, yeah, like there's sort of this thing with some skiers and snowboarders because some of the snowboarders tend to be young and wild and just plowing over people. And it's just a thing. So it's funny you say that because I just learned that about 2 years ago that like I thought we were all one big happy family. No, not really.
I know a little bit about it. It's crazy how everything out there, because I got some friends that live out there like, oh man, you're not going to be a boarder when you move out here, right? I was like, oh dear, I didn't know. I really didn't know. So now I get to kind of speak into that. So I got to give you a hard time for that one.
Yes, but I am a snowboarder. I don't know how to ski.
That's great. Yeah, it's easy. I think it's easier than boarding, but yeah.
Yes.
So for me moving out to Salt Lake, the reasoning why, I mean, it's me and my wife. We've got 2 kids. We did the 2 under 2 thing. Goodness gracious, oof, that was a wild one. We're out of it now a little bit, but yeah. So it's been a wild ride, but nonetheless, we got 2 young kids, and we've always just thought about just living in a place of just with adventure, you know, with having the slopes drivable to get into the mountains, to hike, to camp, and mountain bike. I mean, I'm an avid mountain biker, and just being able to have that opportunity at a close proximity to be able to go and just to do that almost any afternoon. So, but yeah, so looking forward to that. And also it's just a different market out there to expand X4. I've been really excited about opening a corporate store out there, and just to be able to get this in the market out in the West Coast. Also, my wife, she's a dietitian, so she's got her doctorate in that category, and so she owns a company called RX Nutrition, and so she has now hired her first dietitian that's going to take over the Birmingham market over here in Alabama, and then so she's going to launch her portion of this company out in Salt Lake as well. So she's really excited, and so we were just super pumped about getting out there and just experiencing all that Salt Lake has to offer.
That's exciting. That's exciting. But yeah, so let's sort of jump into. I'm gonna let Tommy sort of become Rain Man a little bit. He's better at all of these numbers and stuff. But let's sort of talk about a little bit of the data of the franchises, affiliates that you guys currently have, because at the end of the day, right? Like, we've all been CrossFit gym owners at one point, and if you're really trying to grow these things to make money profitably, you have to talk about the revenue side of it. So to get started, I know for us, it's been a amazing experience getting to work with you guys from the ground up, and a bigger piece is you guys actually taking our advice, because you'll be surprised, right? Like, you guys are like, yes, like, we trust you to like tell us what to do, and we're like, oh, this is going to be great. And then you guys are seeing the rewards of that, because at times we work with different franchises and they're trying to tell us what to do, and we're like, guys, we just don't think this is going to work, because at the end of the day, everyone wants their piece of the puzzle to do well. You want your franchises to grow. We want the marketing and the sales side to grow. So if we can come to the table and say, okay, this is going to be a great relationship, we've definitely seen that with you guys. But Tom, I'm going to let you jump in and sort of let's just talk about some of the numbers behind this stuff, because I want guys and girls to know that like this really works.
Yeah, so obviously, like, when we engage with you, Chris, and X4, like, we took some of the lessons learned working with different franchises, just working with different gyms, better understand how you guys wanted to enter the market, and then really figure out, like, how do we systematize this as much as possible. So like you said, the most valuable thing a franchise can offer franchisees is a predictable playbook. That's what you're paying your royalty fees for, your franchise fees for. It's like, hey, I'm buying the system, right? And the more valuable and predictable the system is, the more valuable the franchise is. And so we wanted to kind of put our heads together to figure out, okay, like, in a perfect world, what does it take to open an X4 reliably well in the markets that you guys want to enter? Now, before I jump into how, like, the conversation that we got into, I know offline you're kind of giving some statistics on Mountain Brook and just kind of like unit economics in general. Do you want to just speak to that real quick, Chris, in terms of not to brag unless you want to call it a humble brag, but like just some of the numbers that you're putting up in your marketplace, and then I can add some context around those types of numbers. So yeah.
Absolutely. So X4 Mountain Brook is the one that we are modeling after to be able to expand this as a franchise. And so every bit of the playbook that we are doing at X4 Mountain Brook is exactly what we're going to be replicating in each of these franchisees, which is why ultimately there is going to be confidence in all that we have to offer so that you can replicate these type of revenues. And so on a monthly basis, we average around that $25K mark of what your costs are in this location. Our rent is pretty substantial. And you can take this into account because that's a big part, is $11K. So our rent is sitting at around $11K. So do the math on the rest of it. To operate is about $14K added to get to that $25,000 mark for what our cost is for that location. From a revenue standpoint of membership generation, is we've got over $60K that we are generating at that location. So on a monthly basis, we're making over $35K in profit. So you think about what your investment is on a cash on cash return for something that was at this location was about a $450,000 build out from ground up. I mean, from a construction standpoint, and that's pretty substantially good when you think of what that cash on cash return is. And so, yeah, so we're even now we're still growing because why? Well, we've partnered with you guys at Lasso to be able to hit the market the right way and to generate just more lead generation for us. And so, I mean, we've even gotten to the point to where we had to expand the amount of people that are in the class. So we have 4 different stations. And so we had six people that could be within those stations. And so that, doing the math on that, that's 24 people. And so we added 1 person per those stations. So now we're sitting at 28 and we're still busting out of the seams. And I was talking with my COO the other day, and I was like, how could we add one more per station to get to 32? And the square footage, we're sitting around 3,300 square feet at this location. And man, I'll tell you, if I could figure out a way to get one more person per station to get to a 32, oh my gosh, I would do it. And but yeah, so we're super pumped about that spot, which is the exact reason why we're using this location, all of our systems. This is our tester now. When we test anything, we are testing at this location because this is what we're replicating for each franchisee.
What I love about what you said, Chris, is so right now you guys are basically, based on the metrics you gave me, you're sitting at around like $40 a square foot a year, which I would imagine in Mountain Brook and Birmingham, that has to be like the cream of the crop type of real estate that you're able to operate in successfully. Does that sound about right?
Yeah, you're completely nailing the head on that.
Highest end retail. So this model can operate incredibly well in Class A retail real estate. I think some of the problems that some of the franchisees are running into is the unit economics and visibility. So like if you're like in type C industrial, or you're kind of in like a flex warehouse where you don't have a ton of signage, you don't have a ton of visibility, it makes it a lot harder to operate. You guys have proven that you can operate in locations where you will have a ton of visibility. And correct me if I'm wrong, Mountain Brook is not I mean, you guys aren't the only ones in that area. How competitive is the Mountain Brook fitness market? Like just throw out some, like how many different concepts are in and around you
Oh
in terms
my
of how you're
gosh,
operating?
like tens. I mean, it's crazy how many competitors are over there. But I think that speaks to the methodology. I mean, the methodology matching also what we offer as from a hospitality. I mean, it is a premium experience. I mean, when you walk in, we have sweat towels, you got your cold eucalyptus towels at the end. You've got a great experience from a workout standpoint that is approachable for everybody. And anyone who walks in day one, you've got your free trial, you can plug and play so simply. And from everything from each of these templates, from a methodology standpoint, if I can dive into that slightly, is just like, hey, like we are super like dialed in to what the market needs and also matching that with what we have to offer. And from every energy system of, we've got sprint work. How much do we, if you think of like, what are the two things that are so most important is like, we want to make sure that we're hitting, as we're getting older, strength work, which we're doing twice a week. We slow things down, time under tension. We from lower body focus to upper body focus to full body. I mean, we offer that on a consistent basis every week. And what we offer is also some sprint work weekly. And like for us to be able to hit that on a weekly basis, we are not doing that naturally. And which is why we want to be known as like, hey, we do this inside. We do this at X4 for the life that we have outside of it. We fully recognize that we are just a gym. Like we have a great community. You're going to have a great experience, but ultimately we are just a gym, and we know that the most important thing is your life outside of it. It is what you do outside with your family, or if it's the extracurricular thing that you do. It's just being in better shape for the longevity of your life. Like that is the most important thing, and we fully recognize that. But you're going to have a premium experience when you walk in. The hospitality is bar none. And we're just excited for people to experience it so consistently at our Mountain Brook location, and now expanding across the Southeast.
Just to piggyback off that, not to derail this completely, but I remember one of the conversations we had, or kind of earlier on in our engagement with you guys, was we were testing out different offers, and you guys had come back to us saying, hey, I understand from like if a cost per lead standpoint, we go with one offer, but we actually would prefer to go with a different offer at a higher cost per lead because it more matches our values in terms of what we believe in as an organization. Do you want to speak to that real quick, Chris? Because I think it is unique, and I think it just gives the listener an additional layer of, hey, these guys, like, yes, they're here to make money. It's a business, right? We got to make money, but not at the detriment of core beliefs about how we want to interact with our clients. Do you want to speak to that real quick?
Yeah, that's really good. Yeah, we tried a 4 classes for $4 ad, and then we noticed with that one, it just didn't match exactly who we are and what we've curated, because what we used to offer and what we went back to, obviously, like once again, we have tested the market. We have understood exactly like how you as a franchisee need to move forward, because we know what works. And so we went back to the 4 weeks for $40. And is that sales cycle a lot longer? Absolutely. The sales cycle is a lot longer. Yes, there's a little bit upfront. I get it, but like no one's creating a business model at a boutique gym with $40 memberships. It's ultimately, we wanted these four weeks for $40 members to come in and experience who we were, experience over a 4-week time period who we are, what our offerings are. Because over the 4 weeks, they go through every cycle of what our methodology can offer. And they also understand after those 4 weeks, our coaches, the experience they get when they walk in the door, when someone calls them by name, and everything that we have to offer on a consistent basis is at a very high value, to where, you present a membership after, well, of course I'm going to go for that $179 membership, because it's worth it now. I see the value in what you guys are doing at X4, and they probably, over the course of 4 weeks, they've developed friendships, which we love to curate. And secondly, they're fitter by that 4-week mark too. They're feeling better. They're now, day one, can you walk into a workout and achieve it incredibly well? Yeah. But now it's like, now I understand. I'm now, developed so much more fitness over a 4-week period. And now I'm able to go faster. I'm able to have the confidence to lift a little bit more. And that's really cool to see.
What I'm hearing from that is like you guys actively decided to do the harder job of building relationships over a longer time frame, not make it seem so transactional. It creates a bigger burden on the staff. And when I say burden, just like, hey, like that means you actually have to try to build these relationships, keep up with them, make sure no one slips through the cracks. And you guys said, hey, we're going to raise our hand and do the hard job, because that establishes the type of culture we want to have long term. That's essentially what I just heard from that entire thing. Does that sound right?
That's very accurate. And over that, I mean, the conversion rate over that 4 weeks for $40 is a lot higher than what it was at 4 classes for $4. And I think the reasoning for that is because it brings in, yes, I think a little bit of a different clientele, but secondly, it just allows them to fall in love with the brand and the relationships that they're going to build there. So
going back to unit economics, so you guys, like Birmingham, Mountain Brook is probably what's considered almost like a tier 3 market. And just so the listeners kind of understand, tier 1 would be like your New York Cities, your Los Angeles, established market, tons of fitness, a lot of people with a lot of income. Tier 2 would be more like your Chicagos, your Houstons, your Bostons, things like that, where it's just like it's not as big, but there's obviously established fitness market. You guys are tier 3, where I would still put like Birmingham as kind of like an emerging market in terms of fitness concepts. A lot of people are moving to Birmingham, I've heard recently. Like a lot of people are just kind of continuing to move in that direction. It's kind of becoming like the next Atlanta of the Southeast. And to put up the types of numbers you are, that puts you like in the top 1% of fitness franchises in the country, which I think just kind of speaks to everything that you've talked about: methodology, niche in the market, the culture you want to represent. I think all of that just kind of speaks to it. Moving on to pre-opening, just to give listeners a little bit of an idea of how we were able to kind of create your pre-opening playbook. Chris, do you know off the top of your head what Mid-City is kind of allocated for their marketing budget for pre-opening? Do you remember what the number was off the top of your head?
30 grand.
30 grand, right? And that's typically like 2x what most FDD docs, at least in the last 5 years, usually give their franchisees in terms of a marketing budget. How we kind of landed on 30 grand, and that may sound like a lot of money to you guys, is when it comes to predictable lead flow, nothing's going to beat paid advertising. It's not to say like you're not supposed to do your pop-up workouts. You're not supposed to do business outreaches. You're not like organic plays. All of that still matters. But if Chris is coming to me and said, hey, what's the most predictable way to get people to 150 to 200 members? It's always going to come from paid ads. Because as long as we know what cost per lead is, we know how many leads that we're going to be able to generate for you based on a certain budget, right? So with $30,000 in marketing budget, let's just say we're using 20 to 24 of that towards paid ads. Blake, what are we currently generating for Mid-City cost per lead?
So when we started out, we were like $8. Now we're $12 after a couple months.
So let's just call it like a $10 average over the time we've been working together. That's $2,400 or 2,400 leads that we're going to be able to generate for Mid-City based on a $24,000 ad spend. Chris, if you're like, hey guys, the goal is for have them to land between 150 to 200, that means their conversion rate is like 8 to 10%, which is below average for cold traffic. So again, like just using basic math and like decent marketing, I can go to an owner like Chris and say, Chris, as long as they're just half decent at talking to people and getting them in to experience it, we're going to land somewhere between 150 to 200 members from the jump. And that's just, again, guys, based on ad budget, whatever. Where I see a lot of franchises make mistakes, they don't spend enough money and they start to enter markets that there's no brand awareness in. So like, for example, like one of the things that I'm sure you've thought of like moving into Salt Lake City is you're like, hey, X4 has dominated the Southeast for the last however many years. When it comes to Salt Lake City, we're having to enter a new market where X4 doesn't have like as much brand awareness. And we have to take that into consideration when we're opening up a new studio, right? Like, Chris, I mean, does that scare you at all? Or have you done this enough to where you're like, nah, dude, like I know how to open up studios. Like it's no big deal. It is what it is. I'll just kind of ride the tide. Like, how do you think about it?
Yeah, I think I've done this for so long now. I'm like, all right, well, I can double down on myself and opening up a corporate store out there. I feel much better about versus like Huntsville. I'm like, well, I've already hearing people from Huntsville already saying, oh man, I heard you're opening up one up here, and I'm like, yeah, it's nice to have that brand awareness in the Southeast. But for me out there, I mean, yeah, we will be spending very good money with you guys as we are approaching that city. But yeah, so I have full confidence that you guys are going to take care of us from a paid ad standpoint to make sure that the market by opening day knows exactly who we are.
Yeah. What's on your guys' radar in terms of national expansion? Like for you, is it kind of like, hey, we want to stay regional right now. Chris is going to go see if he can do proof of concept in a completely different market, and then we kind of expand from there. Like, what are you guys thinking about right now with that conversation?
Yeah, that's it exactly. I mean, it's if someone wants to have a conversation, absolutely, to make sure that they are the right franchisee. I would love to have those conversations to be able to just to foreshadow what's to come for X4 from a national standpoint in the next coming years. But yeah, I mean, ideally, we would love to be within the Georgia, Alabama, Tennessee, South Carolina, Florida range. And so that's currently what our focus is. But yeah, definitely would love to have conversations with franchisees that are in other states that are not in the Southeast, but have the same mentality as us from a hospitality standpoint to just being from a humble standpoint and also taking direction. I mean, like we're going to give you the playbook. Should it be successful based on everything that we've created? Absolutely. We just feel the most confident in the ones that know who X4 is locally. And, just like you guys, humility is something that we really like to focus on. And from a franchisee standpoint, I haven't met Tommy, you and Sherman yet, face to face, but like meeting Blake up in Indianapolis, it was like, dude, I am so confident now of this B2B relationship with Lasso because of just who you guys are. Like I've seen you, other two of you on calls and, meeting Blake and getting to know him and understanding more about his family and just all that he offers at Lasso and the confidence that I have in this relationship now is like bar none. And to the listeners out there is like, I told y'all this last, like I stacked y'all up with a competitor of yours. And, whenever I stacked you guys up, it was like, all right, well, I've got two decisions I can make. These are the best in the market. And I chose Lasso because I felt absolutely confident that you guys are going to take care of X4 in the future of all that we're going to have to offer.
Last one, and then I'm going to toss it back to Sherman. One of the limitations I've seen with franchises, Chris, is it really comes down to the operator, right? Like it's do they believe in the mission? Do they believe in the methodology? Are they a good operator? And that doesn't necessarily mean you got to be Chris Wade. It just means like you got to know how to surround yourself with people that are going to help you be successful, right? If we're talking to our audience and they're curious about X4, who wouldn't be a good fit for what you guys are looking for? I think sometimes it's easier to find like, hey, that person's a great fit, but let's speak to the other side of it. Like, who would not be a good fit if they're looking to franchise X4's methodology in your mind?
Yeah, someone who doesn't take coaching, someone who thinks that they have their own way and they're not going to deviate at all based on what we are telling them. If they're not a good listener, they're not humble, if they don't love people well, because hospitality is at the basis of who we are. It's foundational. And if you can't create hospitality even within the workspace of your GM or your front desk managers, or everything that you're trying to curate, then how are you going to love these members well?
Yeah. Do you think it's fair to say too, like, this isn't like passive income like real estate? Like, this is still a business. It's still a gym. You gotta, you're not going to just collect mailbox money. It's going to take a lot of work. Any advice you would give someone who's maybe interested in reaching out to you?
Yeah, definitely be ready to make sure you're implementing and working on a consistent basis on everything that's in that playbook. This is not passive. I mean, it's going to take work. It's going to take relationships. When you own a gym, it is not passive income. You are always on the offense. And as all of you are, gym owners, you are always on the offense, staying ahead of the market, because if you're not advancing, you're going to be stagnant, and then, your competitor is going to just gobble you up. So we are, someone who is consistently thinking and just having that forward thinking of what is next, and just making sure like they're protecting the brand.
No, that was great. So I think we've given him a great deal of info and everything about X4 and how they're going to crush it and how we work together. So Chris, I'm going to give you one little last thing as we get ready to get out of here. If someone's like, oh, like, I love this Chris guy, I love this X4 thing, how do they reach out to you so they can get more info?
Yeah, just you got our website. Our new website is coming out within the next month for the rebrand. So I'm excited for everybody to see that. So that's going to be out early December. But you can reach out to me personally, Chris at X4fit.com. And then I would love to have a conversation and, get to know you and see what your thoughts are on X4 and see if we could be a good fit for you.
All right. Perfect, guys. Well, Chris, thanks for hanging out with us 2 weeks in a row, man. We appreciate it. And guys, as always, tell a friend to tune in, and we will chat with you guys next week. All right.
Yeah. Thank you for listening to the Gym Marketing Made Simple podcast with Blake Ruff and Sherman Merricks. We hope you enjoyed. We believe marketing should increase revenue and not waste money. So book your free call today. Head on over to lassoframework.com. That's LASSOFRAMEWORK.com and find the right words, get more customers, and increase your revenue. We'll see you here next time.